Okay, so we've got another question from one of our Facebook followers. This is James Goforth, so thank you, James, for the question. How do you keep giving consistent performances?
Well, I think this is a problem with even all the top players, struggle to consistently play well, because, even the top players, one day they can be really, really good. And I suppose this applies to, the lesser players, really, that one day they feel like they can be really, really good, and then the next day they go and play a tournament or even practice, and it's not so good and not so pretty. So I think a lot of it is down to practice. The more you practice, the better you become. The more matches, the more tournaments you win, the more consistent you become. And basically, the higher level that you get to play at, the higher that you consistently play at that level. But I do think that concentration is a big part of it.
So do you find that, in terms of, is there a practicing being consistent in practice, or is that two separate things, between practicing privately here, for example, and then going to a competition?
Yeah, well, I think it all stems from your practice. I think when you practice, you've got to practice properly. You've got to concentrate. You've got to apply in practice what you would in a match. But obviously, in a match, it's a little bit easier to focus and a little bit easier to concentrate. But I think your concentration level has to be high all the time. Especially in tournaments, because you can play one match and you can be really, really good. You play again in a few hours' time, your next match, and you're not so good. So I think that's where the consistency level comes in of your concentration, because you did nothing different than you did 2 hours before. Perhaps your concentration is just not quite as high. And I think also when you're playing matches, 3, 4, 5, 6 matches in a day, I think the physical fitness side of it makes a difference, because you're playing a lot of matches. So after 2 or 3 matches, you get to a point where you're a little bit drained, mentally and physically. And I think if someone's a little bit fitter, then I think all these things can make a difference.
Definitely. Okay,
right.
Great.
So for more pool videos from Gareth Potts, please visit homeletterdirect.com/pool.